guest plays a leading role in The Suitable Boy, Meera Nair's adaptation of Seth's novel that's streaming on Netflix. He plays the role of the debonair poet Amit. So let's hop across to London to meet Mikhail Sen. Hi, Mikhail.
Hi, Sandhya. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. And thank you for that lovely introduction as well. Thank you.
I really enjoyed the way you portrayed Amit. And had I been the girl, I would have certainly gone for you and not for the other person.
Thanks, Sandhya. Thank you so much. That's a massive compliment. I feel very humbled and speechless, and I thank you. I mean, if I was the girl, I would have also gone for Amit, I think. But
absolutely. See, I mean, everybody who knows you and your family aren't surprised at all at the ease with which you portrayed the role of a poet, because your grandfather was a poet who I had the pleasure of knowing as well. Apart from that, your theatrical pedigree is also very well established, with both Ashish and Munira Sen being very popular and established actors in the Bangalore amateur theatre scene. But what really swept me off my feet was your ability to dance. Good heavens! Tango, wow, was that a dance or was that a dance?
Oh, it was definitely a dance, and it was a dance that I had a lot of help with, I have to say. I couldn't have done it without the amazing choreographers Rajeshwari and Shannon and Meera. And actually, I did discover that cinema can create magic, so it does make me look a lot better than I was. But we worked hard on the tango. We worked on the tango from the very beginning, actually. From pretty much day one, I landed in Mumbai for the read through, and I was taken to the person to Avan's office who was cutting my hair, and then I was taken to a tango class. So we worked very hard on it, and I'm very grateful for the way it turned out, because everyone has been bowled over by the dance sequences in the show, and I'm very grateful for that.
Whenever you do come to Bangalore, I'm booking a dance with you.
Done. Absolutely. I will. I'm happy to dance with you. I'm happy to do the tango with you. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I will be in Bangalore very soon. And we can, well, hopefully party at some point.
So let's get back to the film. Tell me, what was your most difficult, sequence in the film?
I think the sequence that was quite hard was, and it doesn't really come across, you get a few shots of it, but it doesn't come throughout, is what Amit, I think, is going through in terms of his writing, because you catch him at a time when he's experiencing struggles in his life, both external and internal. I think he's grappling with something, and he's writing this big, what he calls the Great Indian Novel, or what people call the Great Indian Novel, which is extremely long, and he's a poet, like you say, but he's having his first stab at prose, and I think you see him sort of grappling with his writing, and I think those scenes, to really understand and what Amit was going through, and to portray what Amit was going through, was quite challenging in terms of the writing scenes, and we wanted to get that right. So I remember Meera, doing take after take with just me writing, and also when he's writing the inscription to Lata, it's almost like there's a block. That block is not just writer's block. There is another block. So I think that was quite a tricky moment in terms of the difficult sequence, as you say, and in terms of what the most fun sequence, I think the tango was actually the most fun. I mean, we had such a blast doing it. It was all an absolute blast, to be honest. It was such an amazing experience.
We did read some adverse remarks on social media, mostly from Indians who mocked the kind of accents that people were using, the cast were using in the film. To my mind, it seemed very much like what we have grown accustomed to by amateur English theatre in India. But you, as a modern young man, did you have a problem adapting to that kind of dialogue and, accent, if any?
Not at all. Not at all. I found some of those reactions a bit silly and a bit pedantic, because the truth is that even in the India we live in today, you sound very different from the way I sound in terms of our accents. And we both come from Bangalore. I mean, in the sense that I was born in Bangalore, I grew up in Bangalore, and you've spent most of your life in Bangalore as well. And I think that's the amazing thing about India. It's about embracing our differences, even in the way we speak English. And, English becomes our own. It might have been a foreign language. And sure, even the way we speak Hindi, the way we speak other languages, someone coming from Bangalore and speaking Hindi would have a slight South Indian twist to his Hindi. Someone coming from Madhya Pradesh would have a very interesting Central Indian twist to the way they speak the language. And I think those nuances are just a part of life. And I found, those reactions to be a bit silly, if I, without hurting anyone's sentiments. But I think the idea is that it's about embracing and making English our own, which we do. I mean, English is very much our language. It's in the Constitution. It's one of the official languages of India. A Suitable Boy is a book that tells a story that paints a very, very large canvas. It starts in Brahmpur, but it goes through Delhi and Punjab, and I mean, it's got a Punjabi family, and it's got Kolkata in the background, and it really traverses a very, very wide range of characters and people and families who will not speak English or Hindi the same way. They will have their own influences, because ultimately that's what we bring to ourselves. I mean, we bring to the language, we bring our own experiences, and I think that influences the way we speak.
Okay, now tell me, was this your first time ever acting in a film?
Yes, it was. It was the first time. I mean, I've done some short films, and I've done Mahesh Dattani's Mango Souffle when I was very, very young. And but this was my first real, experience in front of a camera, because it was, almost 21 days filming, and that's quite a long schedule. 5 months I was in India, so it was a real phenomenal experience. I mean, there was so much learning, and I got so much from it.
And before that, you'd acted in a very well-known musical, right? Tell us about that, because I read very rave reviews about your role in that musical too, but which we never got to see because it didn't come to India, I think.
That's right. So Taj Express was a fantastic experience. It was a Bollywood musical, something I could never imagine myself doing. Lots of singing, lots of dancing, loud and proud and everything, it was all the elements. But it was so much fun as well. We started in America. We did 64 shows in 53 cities in 85 days. So it was a mammoth, whirlwind sort of tour. We started in New York, we finished in Las Vegas, and we went everywhere on this bus. And if we weren't performing, we were just sleeping on the bus, or we were, there were days off, and we did see a lot of America, but we saw a lot more of the highways of America. And then and then after that, we off the back of that, because it was quite successful, we did a UK run for a month and at Sadler's Wells, and then we went to Hong Kong and Istanbul. So I saw so much of the world in 2017, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And Shruti Merchant and the entire team were just fantastic. And I think Taj Express continues to tour. I mean, not this year, of course, but I think they've done more and more and more as they've gone on. So it was very, very special to be a part of that.
Windflower Resorts Spa. Come, take advantage.
Tell us about the most recent plays that you have acted in.
For A Suitable Boy, I was in a play called Hell Yes, I'm Tough Enough, which was about the 2016, well, the 2015-16 UK election and the run-up to it, basically. And it revolved around Brexit and all of those things, which was very political. But I had great fun because I played a character who was drafted in to advise the Tories, the Conservatives, on their campaign. And he's sort of this very idealistic chap who basically thinks he can change the Tory, the evil Tory party, the right-wing capitalists, and make the difference from inside. And by the end of it, he's very, jaded by the entire system. And that was a very interesting role to play. And then before that, I was in Troilus and Cressida, where I played Helenus, one of Troilus's brothers, and Priam's sons. It was a fabulous experience. We were in Stratford-upon-Avon, which is Shakespeare's birthplace, and performing at the Royal Shakespeare Company is a dream like no other. It was really, really special. So and this year I've done something called Four More Walls, which was a Zoom show, and because of course lockdown, and an audiobook of Salman Rushdie's The Ground Beneath Her Feet for Penguin and Random House, which was very, very fun and really interesting, great book. And I really enjoyed doing that. So if you want to hear 26 hours of my voice, please download the book off Audible.
So coming back to the point where you said your dream came true, that you could, realize your acting and theatrical ambitions. Tell us how you got to this point. Here you were in Bangalore, and if memory serves me right, you did act in several little plays, even when you were a young boy. You were in a play when all of you were still in play school, I think, or just out of play school. You and Aditya, you were all there in Art Youth. And then, of course, on and off, I saw you on stage. And from there to where you are now, let's quickly recap that journey, because there would be people who are interested in following in your footsteps.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. It all started in Bangalore. It all started thanks to Mama and Papa, my parents, because they both did theatre, not professionally, I have to add, on the side after work. They would take me to rehearsal because they couldn't leave me anywhere else. And that's how theatre became a part of who I am. And I have to say that Arundhati Raja and Jagdish Raja played a very, very important role in my theatre journey, because they started ART, as you said, ART, and with the first play that I did was the insect play, where I played a cockroach, and I was 5 years old, and I had this one moment at the end when all the insects died, the cockroach survives. He's the last one, so he runs on stage, and I think he dies at the end. But anyway, it was my 2 seconds of fame, and I loved it. And I must have been 5 years old. So that, I think at that point, something in me, when I got the applause and, that triggered something where I realized how much I enjoyed and how much confidence it gave me. And then I did several plays with ART growing up. And I would always, my father directed a lot of plays and my mum acted. So I was always surrounded by that world. So I was taken to rehearsal. And then I went off to college and I studied history and in Delhi. And I was quite disillusioned by what I experienced in Delhi in terms of the subject matter, the way it was taught and stuff like that. And I didn't find history to be as interesting by the end of my time, my degree. So I finished my BA and I didn't know what to do. I was very confused. So I decided to try different things and muddy my hands and get a sense of, because I could see myself on NDTV moderating debates. I was very into politics and journalism and all of that. And I did. I worked at NDTV for a short while, and I did not enjoy it very much because I spent a lot of time in front of a computer screen, writing scripts and breakdowns and rundowns and all of this stuff. Basically, a lot of production, and spent very little time in front of the camera reporting. Well, it's very hard to on your first gig. And while I was staring at these screens, I was dreaming so much of being on stage that I thought to myself, bloody hell, why are you dreaming about it? Just go ahead and do it. You're 21. If all else fails, you can come back and do a job like this. So, and that was, I think, the moment when I decided I needed to go to drama school. And via a couple more avenues, I worked with Teamwork Productions in Delhi, where we did, the Jaipur Lit Fest and the Mahindra Excellence. Those were events and arts-related events. I'm very grateful to Shonjoy Roy as well, another mentor in some ways. But I basically took the plunge and applied to drama school and went in 2014, and I did a one-year master's. And after that, I had to come back because I couldn't get a visa, but I had got an agent and I got all this interest and I almost did something, but the visa didn't support it and all of that. But I'd gotten a taste of that kind of world and came back, moved to Bombay. I was determined to make a living off acting and theater. So, and I think you can only do that in Mumbai. So I moved to Mumbai and I did a play with Alec Padamsee. In fact, my father directed me in a play in Bangalore where my mother played my mother. And it was a play called Nine Jaku Hill by Gurcharan Das. It's all coming back to me. But yeah, so that happened. And then I moved to Bombay. And lots of struggle and sleeping on people's sofas and jumping around from one friend to another family to another friend, so that no one got bored of me. And I kept it interesting. But I basically relied a lot on the generosity of friends and family for that year. And then Taj Express came along and I was traveling for most of 2017. And off the back of Taj Express, I managed to get a visa that allows me to work in the UK. So now I sort of split my time. I spend 8-9 months of the year in the UK and 2 or 3 months in India. Of course, that varies depending on work. But yeah, so that's basically been the journey. And A Suitable Boy is very special because I landed the visa and I came over and I was in London. I sort of rocked up expecting auditions to just come my way. And it was, completely quiet for 3 months. And I had to get a job at and I was doing something else. And then this director I was playing cricket with was bowling. And I remember I was standing at deep mid-wicket and the batsman, smashed the ball in the air. And I saw it. It was right up in the air. And I was running forward. I took the catch. It was a very good catch, if I may add. But I'm so glad I took that catch because after that, he offered me a job in his next play at the Royal Court. And Meera Nair happened to be in the audience that day. So I was doing that play and it was all very serendipitous. And I went up to her after and I said, Meera, I've just auditioned for A Suitable Boy. And she said, oh, really? I haven't seen your tape. Can you send it to me? But the amazing thing was that the book was given to me by my grandparents, Dadu and Dida, and the inscription was to Our Suitable Boy. So they gave it to me for my 15th birthday. And it's quite amazing because I play one of the suitors in the show. So it feels very special and it will always be a very special project because of that.
I have a feeling this is going to be a breakthrough role for you, Mikhail. These are very uncertain times, but I'm sure you will find a way to keep going and the possibilities are endless now. Do you have any specific plans? Is there anything specific that you're working on or any particular role that you are aspiring to play?
Well, Suitable Boy has been fantastic. And there's been a few things which are quite exciting, but I think, as you say, things are quite uncertain. So I don't want to say too much and I don't want to talk about them right now. But fingers crossed 2021 will have a lot more to come. So I'm just, without saying more, because I can't, but I feel like I think the future, I hope the future is bright and I believe it is. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to, getting my teeth into many, many more characters and playing several different people.
I wish you all the very best with that. And thank you so much, Mikhail, for being on the show. It was such a pleasure to catch up with you. Now to our viewers, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Spotlight with Sandhya with one of the Suitable Boys. You can also listen to this interview as a podcast on Spotify. Don't forget to leave your comments because we look forward to the feedback. Until I'm back again with another interesting guest, take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Windflower Resorts Spa. Come, take advantage.